Imagine this: Godzilla, the king of monsters, born not in the radioactive wastelands of Earth, but in the chaotic, jutsu-filled world of Naruto. How would the unstoppable force of nature fit into the world of ninjas, chakra, and tailed beasts? Would Godzilla be an ally, an enemy, or perhaps something much more terrifying? Today, we dive deep into one of the most mind-blowing what-if scenarios ever. What if Godzilla was born in the Naruto world? Godzilla's origin in the Naruto world. Let's start by exploring how Godzilla could come to exist in the Naruto universe. The Naruto world is already home to many powerful and destructive forces, from the elemental chakra to the tailed beasts themselves. However, Godzilla isn't your average beast. If he were born in this world, it would have to be a result of something far more ancient than the typical ninjutsu. Imagine Godzilla being created during the formation of the world itself, a being born from the raw chakra that existed in the earliest moments of the Naruto world. Just like the tailed beasts, he could have been a creature of unimaginable power, tied to the natural world itself, a living, breathing entity of chakra. Or perhaps, Godzilla could have been the result of a failed experiment in one of the hidden villages, scientists trying to harness the power of the tailed beasts, creating a creature that had no equal. Born from the land's energy, Godzilla would have an aura of raw, uncontrollable chakra, different from the chakra used by the ninjas. Imagine the impact of this chakra radiating from Godzilla in waves, overwhelming everything around him, causing massive distortions in the natural energy balance. This beast would shake the world to its core before it even makes a move. The hidden villages would have no idea what to make of Godzilla. These leaders would need to unite and strategize like never before. Naruto, now the Hokage, would certainly want to protect his people, but could his Rasengan even leave a dent in Godzilla's thick, scaly hide? This is a monster that took on armies, leveled cities, and could withstand the most intense forces of nature. How could someone like Sasuke, with his Sharingan and Chidori, even hope to match the raw force of Godzilla? These are powerful ninjas, but this is a creature of nature itself, beyond anything they've faced. We're talking about the level of destruction that could obliterate entire cities with a single swing of its tail. The scale of Naruto's world simply doesn't have anything to compare to the scale of Godzilla. But Godzilla's true challenge might not come from the ninjas at all. In this world, there are creatures with comparable power, the tailed beasts. And while Godzilla may be a terrifying force, the tailed beasts are also beings of near limitless chakra, each one capable of leveling entire landscapes with ease. Let's start with Kurama, the Nine Tails. Kurama's chakra is vast, with enough power to reshape entire landscapes and overwhelm opponents with sheer raw force. If Godzilla were to face Kurama in battle, this would be an epic clash of titans. Imagine Godzilla using his atomic breath while Kurama counters with Biju Dama, the tailed beast bomb. It would be like a fight between the two forces of nature, with chakra-infused attacks versus raw destructive power. But Kurama isn't the only one who could step in. Shikaku the One-Tail, Matatabi the Two-Tail, and the others could join in. Together, they would need to form an alliance, a team of ultimate beasts to face Godzilla's might. Could their combined forces even stand a chance? And what about Naruto himself? With the power of the Nine Tails, could he combine his abilities with Kurama's chakra to take on Godzilla? After all, Naruto has faced godlike enemies before, but this is a whole new level of threat. Could he unleash a Kurama-powered Rasengan powerful enough to pierce through Godzilla's defenses? Every village would have their own set of unique strategies. Tobirama, the second Hokage, might focus on mobility and speed, trying to outmaneuver Godzilla, while Gaara of the Sand would bring the power of the Shikaku into the mix, using sand to limit Godzilla's movements. Meanwhile, the Raikage might go in with brute force, perhaps thinking his lightning jutsu could strike Godzilla down, while Tsunade, the fifth Hokage, would likely focus on healing and strengthening her forces, using her chakra-enhanced strength to keep the ninjas alive long enough to find a weakness in Godzilla. But here's the catch: Godzilla's strength isn't in his chakra control, and he doesn't rely on jutsus. He's a primal force of destruction. The question becomes, could the ninja world adapt fast enough to this foreign power to effectively deal with him? Could Godzilla be tamed or controlled? But what if there was another possibility? What if, instead of fighting Godzilla, the Naruto world tried to tame him, much like how Naruto tamed the Nine Tails? Could Godzilla's destructive power be harnessed? Could someone like Naruto connect with Godzilla and communicate with him, using his understanding of tailed beasts and chakra bonds to control this force of nature? Perhaps Godzilla isn't entirely evil. Maybe, like Kurama, he just needs understanding, or perhaps he sees the ninja world as a challenge. Could Naruto, with his bond to Kurama, find a way to forge a bond with Godzilla? This would be a monumental challenge, but could the king of monsters be turned into an ally? Or would his power become something too dangerous to control? The ultimate showdown, will Godzilla ever be defeated? Let's fast forward to the final battle. All the villages have united against this massive threat, and the ninjas have pulled out all the stops. The Rasengan, Chidori, Biju Dama, and every possible ninja tool is used in the fight. But at the end of the day, is it enough? Could the combined forces of every tailed beast, every ninja, and every Kage bring down a creature like Godzilla? Or would he be a constant thorn in their side, always pushing back, refusing to bow down to the might of humanity's strongest warriors? Godzilla's power and size alone would make it almost impossible for any single ninja to defeat him. In fact, this would be a battle of survival, not one of simple victory. The Naruto world might have to learn to live with Godzilla, either as a constant threat or an unpredictable ally. The impact on the ninja world, a new era of power. Now, let's think about the long-term impact of Godzilla's existence in the Naruto world. The introduction of a creature this powerful would change everything. The balance of power between the hidden villages would be thrown off completely. The villagers would need to adapt to living in a world with a constant existential threat. Would the villagers turn their attention to more defensive measures? Would new ninja techniques emerge, inspired by Godzilla's destructive force? Could villages develop new weapons, jutsus, or even alliances with the tailed beasts to take down Godzilla? Alternatively, this power could push ninjas to evolve. Perhaps it would inspire a new wave of extreme power jutsus, akin to what we saw in the Shippuden era with Sasuke's and Naruto's techniques. The entire ninja world would adapt. But could they ever truly feel safe? The role of legacy heroes, could they help? Let's not forget the legendary figures of the Naruto world. Could Hashirama Senju, the first Hokage, with his incredible wood-style jutsu, help combat Godzilla? What about Madara Uchiha, one of the most feared ninjas in history, or even Obito Uchiha with his Kamui? Their legendary powers could provide the key to stopping Godzilla, or at least containing him. However, it's not just about defeating Godzilla. It's about understanding how his existence would change the very fabric of the Naruto world. Could these great heroes step in and help prevent the chaos, or would their intervention be another factor in the escalating conflict? But now, let's take a detour into the mind of someone who would see Godzilla not as a threat, but as an opportunity: Orochimaru. You already know Orochimaru is obsessed with unlocking the secrets of immortality and ultimate power. Imagine his reaction the moment he learns about Godzilla, a living, walking embodiment of ancient energy. Orochimaru wouldn't run. He'd pursue it. Maybe he'd attempt to extract scales, samples of its DNA, or even build a cloning chamber. What if Orochimaru succeeded in creating a miniature Godzilla clone? Not as powerful, of course, but still a terrifying new weapon. Picture a shinobi with the curse mark of Godzilla, a transformation that grants them bursts of atomic breath and massive regeneration. It would be monstrous in every way. And if Orochimaru tried to control the real Godzilla, perhaps with forbidden jutsu or cursed seals, that could unleash a whole different apocalypse. Imagine Godzilla under Orochimaru's command, storming through villages. Not even Akatsuki would dare stand in the way. The Akatsuki, allies or opportunists? Speaking of Akatsuki, what would this infamous rogue ninja organization do in a world where Godzilla suddenly exists? Pain might view Godzilla as a divine punishment, an instrument of justice against the world's corrupted shinobi system. He'd likely try to capture Godzilla, maybe seal it like the tailed beasts, using the Gedo statue. But would the statue even be strong enough to contain Godzilla's endless chakra? Meanwhile, Itachi might have a different take. He'd recognize the risk but also see the balance. Maybe he'd try to convince the Akatsuki to stay out of it, predicting that engaging Godzilla would only bring chaos. And don't forget Kisame. With his shark-like nature and monstrous chakra reserves, he might see Godzilla as a kindred spirit. A battle between Kisame and a water-empowered Godzilla? Yeah, that's something fans would never forget. But let's not ignore our heroes. Kakashi Hatake, ever the strategist, would look for Godzilla's weakness. He'd study its behavior, patterns, and maybe notice that Godzilla reacts more to certain chakra types, perhaps nature chakra, or sage mode energy. Imagine Sakura, using her monstrous strength to punch through terrain as she tries to guide Godzilla into a trap. Kakashi, using Kamui to teleport key objects or people out of harm's way. And Sai, Well, with his ink beasts, he might even try distracting Godzilla long enough for the team to regroup. It would be like a Kaiju-level infiltration mission. Shinobi using camouflage, terrain, and teamwork to survive the wrath of a walking natural disaster. But here's a crazy idea. What if Godzilla became a Jinchuriki? Let's say the Sage of Six Paths himself, in some ancient timeline, tried to seal Godzilla's energy into a human host. The result would be the strongest Jinchuriki in all history. Someone wielding nuclear-level chakra, capable of destroying mountains without even releasing their full power. Maybe the host is rejected by society, feared, abandoned, and hunted. They grow up hated, much like Naruto himself, but far more volatile. Would Naruto try to reach them, relate to them, save them? This would be a heartbreaking, emotional arc. Naruto seeing his younger self in this Godzilla Jinchuriki, trying to stop them from destroying the very world that cast them aside. Alternate timeline, a world where Godzilla wins. But now, let's push it further. What if Godzilla won? What if, despite the best efforts of every village, every Kage, every hero, Godzilla simply could not be stopped? The world would change forever. Cities would no longer be permanent. Villages would become nomadic, constantly relocating to avoid the creature's path. Technology and jutsu would evolve. Chakra weapons might become the norm. Humanity would no longer rule. It would survive, always in fear of Godzilla's return. He would become a myth, a storm, a god of wrath. And the world of Naruto would turn from shinobi warfare to monster survival. A once vibrant ninja world reduced to whispers and ruins, all because of a being that was never meant to exist in this dimension. Could Naruto's talk no jutsu work on Godzilla? Okay, let's break the tension with a fan-favorite question. Could Naruto's legendary talk no jutsu work on Godzilla? Naruto has tamed the wildest spirits, Kurama, the sage's reincarnations, even enemies like Nagato. But Godzilla doesn't speak. He doesn't reason. Could Naruto's empathy reach the heart of a beast that doesn't even have human thoughts? Maybe not with words, but with actions. Saving people, standing tall even when burning, never backing down. Perhaps, just perhaps, Naruto could reach into the primal instincts of this creature and show it that not all humans seek to dominate. That would be the ultimate poetic twist. Not a victory of violence, but a moment of mutual recognition between the world's greatest monster and the world's greatest hero. In the end, this crossover is more than just chaos. It's about power, control, balance, and humanity. Godzilla's existence in the Naruto world would force everyone to evolve, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. It would test everything from strength to strategy to heart. Some would try to tame him. Others would try to weaponize him. A few might even want to be him. But the truth is, Godzilla is a symbol, a force of judgment. And in a world ruled by chakra, shinobi, and ancient power, maybe that judgment is exactly what was missing. If you've made it this far, you're a true what-if warrior. So now, tell us, would you root for the shinobi, or for Godzilla? Do you think this monster could ever be a hero, or would he remain a walking catastrophe? Let's get wild in the comments. We're waiting to hear your fan theories. And if you love epic crossovers like this, hit that like button, summon your Rasengan on that subscribe button, and stay tuned for even more monstrous content. Until next time, keep imagining, keep dreaming, and beware the roar that shakes the hidden leaf.